Guardians of the Galaxy 1 came out at a time like it was just the perfect timing, for it to be something that's going to be ingrained in me kind of forever. It was perfect. It was the first movie that I got to see once I got back on my feet after my initial 3 surgeries, being in the hospital, not knowing if I was going to get out. I mean, it was like it was pretty shaky. So for Guardians to come out at that time, yeah, it was it was awesome. It was awesome. I went and saw it by myself. It was the first thing that I did outside of the house, by myself after all this stuff. And what's the first scene in that movie? Yeah, in the hospital. And I'm immediately just like the emotion is just like it's turned up to 11, you know what I mean? And the whole movie, I'm crying, I'm loving it. It's fun, it's exciting, all those things, right? And I remember I got out of the theater and I went to get in my car to drive home, and I just couldn't handle it. I cried for like 5 minutes because it was like I'm back. You know what I mean? And it was that movie and joy are like hand in hand, you know? And when Guardians 2 came out, just trying to look at it objectively, because there's no way that it could have that same effect on me, right? But I'm sitting there watching it, and it just doesn't have the same spark. It's funny, it's cute, it's got all the things, right? Baby Groot running around and doing cool stuff, and the story with Quill and Kurt Russell and all. I mean, it was good. It was good, but it just wasn't great. So when I saw the trailer for 3, and that they were going to be focusing on Rocket's backstory. Rocket's my favorite character. I'm like, dude, this is got potential here. This is going to be something, right? So I went and saw it. Let's talk about it. Non-spoiler first. So yeah, I went and saw it opening day. I know I'm late to the party, but I was in California doing convention stuff, so I couldn't really sit down and do a review on it. But I got to go see it with my good buddy Ape and Eric. We had a good time. We had a really, really good time. I will say, again, we're starting with non-spoilers here. First, not all the jokes land. There are moments where I'm like, I feel like that should have been funnier, and then it was just dead in the theater, and it was like it was a little weird. But then, right away there's action, there's drama, all that stuff. So it's not a bad thing. And I mean, look, if you're batting like 80%, when it comes to jokes, I'd say that's still pretty good. I will also say that if you're an animal lover, there's gonna be moments in this movie that are hard to watch. It is emotional, it's powerful. You just don't want anything bad to happen to any of these characters. And it's difficult. But I will say that there's a lot of catharsis in this movie too. So that's definitely a plus side. If you love these characters, I can't even see how you could not at least tear up a couple of times in this movie, maybe flat out crying, because it is emotional, it is cathartic, it's really good. It's really, really good. What I love about this is that everyone gets a chance to shine. It's not just about Rocket and about Quill and maybe about Gamora. No, everybody, especially Nebula and Drax and Mantis. They really get chances to show who they are as characters, and I really, really enjoyed that it wasn't just the same couple of characters that we keep following. This movie is really mostly a Rocket Raccoon story, an origin story in a lot of ways, and almost to the point where the movie kind of, and this may be looked at as a kind of a bad thing, but the movie stops a little bit to go back and show these flashbacks. There was actually a moment in the movie where I was like, I wonder if they could have just done that separately, have 2 separate things, maybe put Rocket's story like on Disney Plus as a special. Watch this before you watch Guardians 3. I'm sure that was probably in the conversation, but they decided to put them together. It works well for the most part, but like I said, it was a little like, oh, we're back. Okay, we're back to Rocket now. Look, the heart is there. It is absolutely there, even if it is a bit uneven, I'll say, at times. The ending to me is just about as good as it could have gotten. I love the way that things wrapped up. I'm not going to talk about those things, at least not yet. But yeah, I really, really love the way that things wrapped up. And you can tell that James Gunn really, really loves and he just he's ingrained in these characters. These characters are in a lot of ways his versions of these characters. He loves them, and I love to see that he came back to finish their story off. You know, wrap a little bow on it. Now, I mean, where we go from here, we'll see. But I enjoyed that he was able to say goodbye to his characters, and I really love that. And I'm really excited to see what James Gunn will do in the DC universe now. I mean, I was always pretty much like, yeah, he's a good storyteller. He'll do those stories justice. But now I'm really excited to see what's next for him. I mean, I guess that'd be Superman Legacy, right? So ranking, I would definitely put Guardians 1, but as you heard, I have reasons for that. It is part of me now. Guardians of the Galaxy is part of my psyche. So it's hard to top that. But I think that that Volume 3 is a solid number 2 position underneath the original. I mean, the second movie again is on the bottom, but it's not a bad thing. I think this is a really really solid trilogy and a good way to wrap it up. And yeah, it was awesome, and you should go see it. Like go see it if you haven't already. Go see it. All right, so now it's spoiler time. If you're still here, great. If not, hey, I'll see you later, or whatever. It's we're gonna talk spoilers now, so that's your warning. Okay, so first off, let's just talk about it. Let's talk about Lila. Let's talk about Teefs, and let's talk about Floor. Oh my gosh, it's one of those things where, when anybody says, "Oh, James Gunn just knows how to be, do potty humor and stuff like that," you watch those scenes. You watch these scenes with Rocket and Lila and Teefs and Floor, and you look at that and you go, I am completely locked in. It's not just because they're cute. It's the storytelling. It's the voice acting. It's everything together. It's telling this story. And you know what? I am in with these characters. And I love these characters. And I don't want to see anything bad happen to them. And then when it does, you're like, oh my, I mean, it tears your heart out in a good way. You know what I mean? And it's like, this has all happened, and this is part of Rocket and part of who Rocket is. Oh, it's so good. It was definitely the highlight of the whole movie, and it makes you hate the what is it? The High Executioner, whatever his name is, the bad guy, the High Evolutionary. That's his name, by Chukwudi Iwuji. That guy, he does fine, but he also, I never really understood what he was doing. Like, what was the point of it all? I mean, in a way, like I saw people, say that he was kind of like Thanos, and that he just wanted to make the universe in his image and the way that he wanted it. And I don't know, he was just there for me. But I'm telling you, that story with those three characters and Rocket, with Lila, Teefs, and Floor, it tore your heart out in the best way. The hallway scene, great stuff. It's one of those scenes where it's an Avengers level scene where you just love it. You're just loving every minute of it. It's amazing stuff. And I think if we can get this kind of stuff from James Gunn over at DC, man, we're in for a treat. I'm calling it right now. I think James Gunn is going to make DC the place to be, and it's going to be hard for Marvel to keep up. That's just what I think. I think James Gunn is one of the best singular voices and best storytellers that Marvel had. Now he's over at DC, so we'll see how this all goes. And the last thing I really want to talk about is the ending. The way that everything ended up. I love that Rocket became the leader of this new version of the Guardians. I love that nobody died. I mean, it was a weird thing where I was kind of like, okay, I keep expecting someone to die, and they keep kind of pulling the rug out from underneath you, and you're like, okay, they're going to die, and then they don't, and you're like, okay. But I really enjoyed that everybody kind of got to be, they continue to be characters out in that universe, even if we never see them again. We know that they're out there, and that's a good feeling. If you love these characters, it's just a good feeling. I don't think I've heard anybody talk about this, but I love the fact that at the end, Quill and Gamora remain separate. Gunn didn't think, oh no, we just have to smush these characters back together. I love the fact that this new Gamora, this other version of Gamora than we've known, she's her own character and she has her own desires. And you know what? It makes sense that they will never be together again. And I love that. And there's this bittersweet thing between them. I loved it. I love the way that they did that. She goes back to her new family with the Ravagers. I look, that's the kind of thing that makes these characters a little more realistic. And it's not just, oh, this is just, it's the movies and we're having, no. It feels more realistic that they go their separate ways. Now, who knows? Who knows? These characters get to live on and all that stuff. And who knows? We might see them again. So that's it. Guardians Volume 3. Have you seen it? What did you think about it? Let's talk about it down in the comment section below. I want to say thank you, all of you, for watching this. And again, for supporting the channel. Even when I'm gone, you guys are supporting the channel. I really enjoy that. I really appreciate that. So thank you guys so much. And we'll see you on the next one.